All right. Hi, guys. I hope everyone's being safe at home and not bored out of their minds. My name is Susan Sams. Today I'm doing my micro teaching on writing. The program that I'm using is VoiceThread. It's a GSU program, and then I just video recorded my desktop, if that helps anybody. So for my writing assignment, I'd like to start class off by asking warm-up questions naturally. So it'd be like, hey, Johnny, how was your weekend? Morgan, did you do anything fun? Did you and your families go anywhere? Tim, what did you do last night? Did you have a lot of homework? Did you do your homework? I would typically ask, maybe, what did you have for dinner? Did your family cook? Did you go anywhere? And I would ask for full sentence replies. I'm assuming that my previous grammar lesson was on the ED forms, and I would say my students are probably intermediate, about maybe 12 plus. So simple sentence formations and definitely some past tense grammars. I would like to go over past vocabulary forms that we just learned. So example, simple ED, learn, to learned, want, wanted, path, past. And then I would also talk about some of our irregulars, because it's very important to know go turns into went, or see turns into saw, and then eat into ate. I would let my students know that there is not a particular rule for irregulars. It's just something you have to memorize. So maybe even every week give them maybe 5 irregular verbs to learn. Swim, swam type thing. Okay. And my next activity after we warmed up, we did our little grammar lesson, answered some questions. I would give out our first activity. So it is my trip to Hawaii. I wrote a personal story, and then I'm going to read it with the students. So for summer vacation one year, me and my family went to Hawaii. In Hawaii, I went to a lot of good restaurants where there was a lot of yummy food. The weather was warm, so I swam a lot. I went snorkeling and saw many colorful fish. When I was in Hawaii, I learned how to use chopsticks. We ate a Japanese breakfast when I learned. I also went to a museum for Pearl Harbor, where I saw the sunken ships and put flowers in the water for the past soldiers. After we went over, I'm going to ask some comprehensive questions. So they're okay, class, can you tell me where my family went? Hawaii. I would ask questions about Hawaii, does anyone know where Hawaii is? Do we know that Hawaii is an island? And then we'll do swimming and ask what I did while I was there. I swam a lot, and I went snorkeling, and I ate a lot of food. Just a bunch of comprehensive questions. It's really hard to do this without a class. So once that's done, I'm going to ask them to underline all the past tense verbs used in the writing. I'm going to give them about 5 to 10 minutes because I want them to write them underneath as well. So you're going to underline them and then write them down below. After that time passes, I'm going to go behind and we're going to review it. So we're can anyone tell me what the first verb was? And then we'd just go through it. I'd get went, and then in the next we'd go went again. And then we'd hit was, and then was again. And then we would get to swam, and I would ask students swam, why is Is it is swimming or to swim? Swimmed or swam? Just comprehensive questions, and then went again, and then was, and then learned, and I would probably ask what the present tense form of learned was, and then would be learn. We'd have a short little time with this, and then we'd write them below. And this was my practice example for the students, because the main activity that I want from them is a writing activity. And I would be like, just like my Hawaiian story, I want you to write your own story. In 5 to 9 sentences, write about your past birthday, vacation, holiday, weekend trip, etc. So I would ask to make sure to include at least 7 past tense verb phrases. Once finished, I want them to share their paper with a friend, and I want that friend to underline all the past tense verbs that they can find. Naturally, this writing activity is going to take quite a while, about possibly 20 minutes or more. So the idea is for the students to do the writing in class and then share it with their friend. And then afterwards, we would go over it, we would talk about it. So I would have students share their story. We can go over some of the verbs. I can make some corrections, but I want the students to turn it in. I want to give them feedback and like mark up, and then I want them to rewrite it and resubmit is the idea. I don't want it to be a lecture heavy class. I want it to be the students writing and the students asking questions. I want them to ask, how to form a sentence if they're unsure, and use their time wisely to write their story. I'm hoping that writing one of their own stories is more meaningful and easier than making one up.